Gold Hill and friends. I am here this evening with the honorees of our intimate night, Bishop Franklin and Elder Sylvia Lowery. We are celebrating 21 years of pastoral service. Wow, 21 years. Tell me what 21 years means to you.
Only one word I could say: commitment, longevity, fortitude. That's what it means to me. It's what it feels like to me.
I've aged a bit in 21 years. I've had some highs and some lows. But I learned to depend on God. 21 years from a mighty long way. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be here. Go here, saw enough God in me to allow me to be their pastor. And I'm still here, and they ain't locked the doors. And as far as my memories, ain't nobody cussed me out yet. So to God be the glory.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, so we're talking about 21 years. You said God has brought you from a mighty long way. So I want you to think back when you first received the call to the ministry. What was your first response to the call?
To the ministry or to the pastorate?
To the ministry, and then we'll go on to the pastor.
Wow. I was numb. I never forget it. When I answered the call, I was at work, 92, December the 4th. Duke was playing Michigan State. I had just got pulled over by Lincoln County Finest, and they asked me if I had any crack in my vehicle.
Wow.
And I said this: the only crack I have is the one I was born with.
And it made the paper.
But after all of that, and I began to pray and seek God's guidance, I was very, very upset. And in the midst of all that, I began to pray. Earnestly pray. And I remember it like it was yesterday. God said, without me, you're nothing. I need you to go and tell others. And so I showed them all of my credentials and everything. But I felt bad. But then when I cried out to God and I said, God, if you're calling me, and I left work on that Saturday night, came home, got in bed at 9 o'clock, allowed me to sleep through the night. That's the first time I slept through the night when I answered the call. I told Sylvia, and she said, I knew. I went and told my dad, and he sit up in the bed, and I can't tell you everything he said to me.
No.
But he said, if the Lord's calling you to preach, you preach what the Lord tell you to preach. And don't worry about, and I can't use the word that he said. And I'm still here.
Amen.
Not by anything that I've done so great, but by the grace of God, I'm still here. And some of y'all still coming. God bless you.
Okay, First Lady, we're going to speak to you for a minute. So being the First Lady of a ministry, I'm sure requires a lot of support and undergirding to Bishop. So how do you stay grounded and motivated to continue this walk with him, and also encouraging to him?
God is who keeps me grounded. The love of Jesus, the love of people, and he somewhat makes it easy for me to stay grounded because I know who he is and I know his character. And being grounded means that I'm rooted and I'm in a place in my life. I have to be secure in who I am. To be a pastor's wife, you have to be secure in who you are, because people will try to change you. and they'll try to conform you to a different way than you are. But I'm pretty solid in who I am and secure who I am. And, I pray for him a lot. I pray for him a lot because as a first lady, you see a lot of things and you hear a lot of things, and a lot of things that I may see or hear, I don't take it all to him. And that's how we keep down a lot of confusion, because if I was always in some mess, everything would be messy. But I'm not that type of person. So I pray about a lot of things. And my mother, they always told me, if you just let stuff go, leave it alone, it'll settle down. So a lot of things you have to allow to settle down, and just to motivate him. It's just to encourage him. I'm there for him whenever he wants to listen, when he wants to talk. I'm a listening ear. A lot of times he'll say, honey, I got something to tell you. And I'm saying, is it going to keep me from going to sleep tonight? I don't want to know. Because a lot of things, I'll take with me. Some things he'll share with me, some things he won't. But those important things that I know that's pressing on him that may be heavy for him, I'm that burden sharer, where I pray about it and things like that. But it's not easy, but we're in a place where we've grown up. So a lot of people we already know. I think it would be different if we were had to learn a lot of people, but we're in a place where we grew up. So I know a lot of people. Not to say that there's not ever any conflict or anything like that going on. In every church there's conflict. Don't let nobody fool you about that. But wherever there's conflict, he has a way of maintaining his character. He doesn't get all riled up and things as we've seen in the past with other pastors, but he knows how to pray through some things and talk some things down and maintain who he is. That's what I like about him. I know who he is.
About you too, girl. Yes, I do.
Don't make me lose my lunch. All right, I'm gonna dig a little deeper, maybe get a little bit personal for a minute. Over the 21 years you all have been pastor and first lady, have you all ever had a disagreement or maybe a different vision or differing opinions on the direction of the ministry or the way things should be done? If that question makes sense to you. Have you ever kind of maybe been on opposite sides?
I can honestly say that as far as having a disagreement, if we disagreed, it was maybe I didn't understand, or maybe he didn't understand where I was going. That would probably be the only disagreement. And over the years, it's 21 years, my role has changed here at the church. I think I have more of people don't understand, and I didn't really understand it when it was first given to me, the title pastor. I really didn't understand that with him being the bishop and me being titled the pastor. I didn't understand it because I didn't think the people would understand it. But now I understand my role as pastor, not co-pastor, but pastor. I don't make decisions. I don't give him things that we should do. Here as a church, as far as leadership role, I stay in my lane as far as that, but I do have opinions. And if I say, well, honey, we ought to, this or that, we'll talk about it. He said, But then he may think about it later, and then he may come back to it. And we may disagree on me not understanding the direction that he's going. But then when I weigh it and look at it, and as Habakkuk says, wait on the vision, I'll have a better understanding. Or sometimes, some ideas that I may have come up with, or something that I may impart into him, he'll use it as a part of that. But that's the only disagreement, is maybe misunderstanding or not really. As a congregation, sometimes I really don't understand what God is saying, what God is saying to him. as well as I'm pretty sure sometimes he probably questions God, "God, you sure?" But I have to be supportive. I cannot allow the congregation to see me disagreeing with him in front of them. I can't allow myself, even though sometimes I may not understand, I can't tell them, "I don't know what he's talking about." I can't do that, because that will cause tension and discord in my own house and here in the church. So I try to stay in my lane as far as that. But as I say, my role has changed here, where I do have I'll come up with suggestions for things to do in the church, activities or events that we should have, and he's pretty open to that in that role. And I become more vocal, as y'all probably know by now. I've come a little bit more vocal now, to where people receive what I'm saying now better. I can become his backup voice to back up a lot of things that he's saying. So in that perspective, I think that that's my role has changed. But we don't argue, disagree like that, but we do have disagreements. I could say,
Bishop, I feel like you got a mouthful over there.
I am blessed in the fact that whenever something comes up, I'll share it with her. And I ask, "What do you think about this?" Mm-hmm. Now, understanding that whatever she thinks, if don't line up with what I believe God said, mm-hmm. then she's just thinking. But I'm blessed to say we do a lot of talking and sharing from that perspective. The only time that we really had a disagreement was when I became pastor and I moved her from working with children to working with women.
Oh, yes. That was hard.
She literally raised her voice. Reverend Harrington, she went from alto to soprano, and then she went to a squeal.
I did.
I said,
really?
Wait a minute. I need you to begin to do women's ministry. But that's what I believe the Lord is saying. That's how you get her to come back down there. But that's basically about the only thing we really had to do.
It was a challenge.
And it wasn't really a disagreement. That everything was changed. Everything was fresh. Everything was, and I'm trying to hear God. When you're a young preacher, you think you know everything until the people show you don't know nothing.
You don't know nothing.
But so.
Okay.
That's about it.
So you say when you were a young preacher.
Younger.
So a younger preacher.
Yeah, because I'm still young.
Okay. You're only as old as you feel, right?
I feel it too.
Okay, so if you could go back in time and give yourself a message to your younger self in the ministry, what would you say? What would you tell yourself?
If I had to go from where I am now and write a letter to my younger self,
what would you say?
Don't be discouraged. In due season, you're going to reap what you sow.
That's good.
Don't be discouraged. Because there was a lot of things early on that I got discouraged about. Mm-hmm. And some of it stemmed from, a lot of folk knew me, we grew up together, so on and so forth. But then when they found out that, he's serious about the ministry. So you couldn't just haphazardly or half-heartedly do things. You begin to share this with people. Folk at the altar crying on Sunday, but they're in the store on Monday. And I'm saying, I even had folk tell me, I wish the pastor lived in Charlotte somewhere. I don't like him living right here in the community. And I had that said to me. But they moved. I'm still here. But that's about it. Don't be discouraged. Be patient and wait. There's a whole lot of things that I thought and I believe that God gave me early on, that's just now beginning to manifest itself. Yeah, so that'll be it. Young Reverend, don't be discouraged. Wait on the Lord. If I could sing it in a song, I ain't gonna do it. Go ahead.
Thank you. First Lady, do you want to weigh in on that?
Boy, his answer was profound. It's very good. But I could think that better days are coming. Better days are coming. So no matter what it looks like, it'll get better. As he said, no matter what it may look like, what I see, there's something beyond what I see. And God has already prepared the way. I just have to know that better is on the other side of whatever I'm going through. Growing up, and I thank God for my mom, my grandma, and my great-grandma, because they sort of prepared me and my sister for this. We didn't see it, but God doesn't reveal everything to you. But now I can see how they prepared us for where we are right now, in being ladylike, maintaining a certain level of integrity, and not exposing yourself to a lot of things. They helped us. We had some strong women in our lives that helped us a whole. That helped us be who we are today. But I think I was just right to myself, better days are coming. It's coming. No matter what's behind you, no matter what's before you, better days are coming.
Remember, we were singing. We were singing. We were not pastoring. And actually, I believe it was October before I answered the call. We were singing. And we were singing, God is. And Mama Darcy said, God has something great for the two of y'all when y'all just let go and let God have his way. That was in October, I think it was. And she passed. And I answered the call that December. So I see where the emotions come. That there are certain things that people give you throughout ministry, throughout life, that you hold on to. She knitted me a sweater vest, and I still got it. And if I were to put it on right now, I look like SpongeBob or somebody because it's so small. But I still got it because it meant that much to me. Not only her, but wow. It's one of the hardest things is seeing those that poured into you, and now they're not here to see some of the benefits of their labor that they've sowed into you. That's hard. So we all right.
Yep. She would be so proud.
Will she?
And she was.
Yeah.
2 or 3 of your most memorable moments here at Gold Hill.
Does it have to be ministry related?
No, not necessarily.
All right. This is where we got married. Yeah. We got married here, and I think the first time that I did my initial sermon here, and I mean, there was so many people here. you, when I sit in that chair and it was time for me to get up to stand up to preach, I felt like Jack and the Beanstalk. Everything was just so large. Those two of them. And then, wow.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah, this is where I got saved at. You know, July the 30th of 1987. And I never forget, one of the mothers of the church came to me and said to me, God is gonna do something great with you in this church, because it's been a long time since we had a young man to give his life to the Lord. We're in this church, and she's going on to be with the Lord now, and I think about that. And then the other memorable moment was our bank account was so low, and God told me to get our identity back. And He said it's time to rebuild. And when we began to do that, when they tore off the little shed on the front, I was sitting here. And I just cried. And I never forget, my brother, who was Deacon Lowery at the time, came to me crying and said, "Go, he'll never be the same anymore." So, that's about it.
First
And
lady.
then
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
to have your wife become your daughter in the ministry, to have your biological brother become your son in the ministry. Those are memorable moments for me. And then to be here and to be consecrated a bishop, I didn't fully understand any of that. But one of the reasons that Dr. Gillespie Sanders is preaching the anniversary message is because before anybody else, he was calling me bishop. He said, you minister to everybody. He said, wherever you go, he said, yeah, you're a bishop. And then he don't know this either, but I preached his 21st pastoral appreciation.
Wow.
They go on and on and on and on. Wow.
First lady, anything you want to add to that?
I've pondered that question today. I even wrote down an answer, and as he said, there's so many memorable moments. Some good, some sad, because we've lost so many people that we love dearly. But one of my most memorable moments I can say was when he was consecrated bishop. That impacted me because I didn't fully understand, and the reason I didn't understand, I was sort of questionable about it because I didn't know how the congregation would receive it. Because we were in a traditional setting, and you didn't hear of bishops, in a Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
And
Free Will Baptist, you did.
well, not in
This area.
for him to be consecrated bishop in this region. It was a proud moment, but it was also a little, skeptical up there a little bit of how it would be received. But, with the teaching and the training, taught the people a lot about it before. I think that was very helpful, and how he's been received, and that he was called out. He was called out. And another memorable moment, was when we celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary. And the reason I say it was so memorable, it was a great celebration in that it wasn't just for us, but it was for some of the younger couples in the church to see that there you can make it. And the celebration that we had, it was grand. It was just awesome. And Pastor Jalessa Sanders did the ceremony for us, and it was just so grand. Our sons were there, participating in it. And people from the church came. It was just amazing. But if I would say one thing, memorable moment, it would just be where we are right now. As it says, embracing and expanding the kingdom. When we first introduced the kingdom concepts and moving from church to kingdom, people didn't really understand what you were talking about. What you gonna do with the church? What about the church? The church. But Jesus talked more about the kingdom than he did the church. And to where we are right now, and I can see what God is doing because the doors is being open wide, and now we're walking through that door that has been open. That a lot of times we stood back at the door scared to walk through because we didn't know exactly where we're going. But now we can see where we're going, and I just thank God for the direction that we're going. I really am, and I thank God for this man right here, for what God is doing in his life and in the direction that he's taking him.
All right now.
And okay.
All right, as we bring this interview to a close, both of you, just give me your final thoughts on 21 years and your personal message to the congregation here at Gold Hill.
We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in his holy word.
Say, girl.
He never failed us yet. That's why we say, oh, 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 we can't turn around. We've come this far by faith. To you, Gold Hill, 21 years.
That's how good.
We took a faith walk.
Yeah, we did.
You trusted us. You trusted Bishop. You trusted God that he would lead you to a better place, that he would lead this people to the promised land. And 21 years, there's been some ups, there's been some downs, there's been some hard days, there's been some days of joy, so many days of sorrow. But God has kept us. He's led us to this point, and we're just looking forward to greater things are ahead of us. God has brought us this far. He said he would never leave us nor forsake us. And sometimes it seems like we're walking in darkness and we're feeling our way through, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I can see that light shining so bright now. We can't stop now. We got to keep on marching. We got to keep on keeping on till we reach that place where God has prepared for us. So we love you. We love the things that you've done for us throughout the years. We pray that you continue to keep striving, continue to keep studying God's word, continue to keep us in prayer as we continue to pray for you, as we continue to seek God's guidance in everything that we do, that is presented before you, that God is leading us to, that we don't let go of God's unchanging hand, Because as we said before, we've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, and we're trusting in his holy word all the way. God bless you.
Girl, you did good. You summed it up. But I would say to the congregation to know that you have so much in you. Oftentimes we depend on the Shekinah glory to lead us, and we neglect the Khalil glory that's on the inside of us. You've got so much to give. What I want you to understand is when we come together and we begin to praise and to worship God, I need you to know that this ain't no ordinary worship. All glory and honor belong to God. God bless you. Thank you so much for your prayers and for your gifts. For y'all putting up with us for 21 years. I know this is the Lord doing. God bless
It's
you.
marvelous in our eyes.
Amen.
Amen.
That's all, folks.